George,
the tribal chief himself.
I can't believe it. What is going on out there, world? It's your boy Tommy on the spot in glasses. Thanks so much for joining us here on Watchalong Wrestling. And today we are joined, as always, it would not be, as I always say, it would not be Total Stivas without my main man, Steve, down in Orlando, Florida. Steve, how are you doing today? Are you beating the heat, and are you enjoying the new school semester?
Beating the heat, yeah. You know, it's starting to, we're kind of, I don't want to jinx it, knock on wood, but I think we see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's not going to be as brutal. It's dipping into like just barely peeking over the high 90s, or low 90s, high 80s. So we're doing good in that regard. As far as the new school year, it is exhausting.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's you've got to be so on all the time. Speaking of so on all the time, last week we had a great time with, at least I think I had a great time with each one of these Total Divas episodes, but last week in particular, I thought was one of the more awkward episodes there. I tried to skirt around breast implants as best I possibly could 7 or 8 times, but after a while it became difficult. You just had to kind of talk about boobs, and that's what we did last week.
I mean, it was a very boob-heavy episode.
Indeed, it was a very boob-heavy episode, but I did think some of the other parts too I thought were interesting, and I appreciate that. Like so many of the reality shows, you start off with a couple of different hooks, and you go down to at the end is usually a some sort of conclusion that brings everything happy together.
Yeah, although looking at the preview for this next episode, I'm seeing 2 very different storylines that are going to start to emerge here.
Is that I'm looking at feuding Fundactyls.
Yes.
The Bellas and JoJo reunite with their estranged fathers.
Yes, and of course Trinity and Ariana's conflict escalates.
Yes. Wait, what was the part you said? Ariana's what?
The feud between the Funkadactyls escalates, which is, I'm guessing why it's called feuding Funkadactyls.
Yeah, I did not see on mine. It just says the Bellas and JoJo reunite with their estranged fathers. That's all it says.
See, I have that first part and then the other part.
Interesting. Before we do get into this episode, though, some follow-up from last week. It was driving me nuts. And right after the episode, I sent Steve the commercial for SummerSlam 2013. Did you get a chance to look at this, Steve?
I did. And it's very, very interesting to see the behind the scenes and then the finished product of that.
Yeah, it was very cool. It was I liked that I thought my favorite part, which I did not remember, I mean, it's been 10 years, was definitely Daniel Bryan and Kane doing the yes, no, and then eventually Kane setting everything on fire. Which is interesting. Daniel Bryan is like big time babyface at this time and in the main event, but clearly that had to be kind of a late pivot for them, because he's very much clearly involved with Kane in this commercial, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, I mean, again, not really knowing too much about what was going on in WWE at the time, I just figured, that they're probably one of the most over people at the time, so let's just throw them out there.
Absolutely. No, I agree. And then the other piece of it, which I thought was what was interesting, was once we concluded last week, we had Ariane was having some issues with her aforementioned breast implants and had a bit of a wardrobe malfunction. And on the show, they had showed a clip of Tensei, Brodus Clay, and the Great Khali in there against 3MB. And I was just beside myself thinking, there's no way in the great year of 2013, one of my favorite years, that WWE would stoop so low as to put this match on Raw. But indeed they did. And they actually had the match on their YouTube channel. And they left out probably the coolest part of this entire thing, which was Great Khali, Tensei, and Brodus Clay were not only managed by the Funkadactyls, they were also managed by Hornswoggle and Natty. I guess at the time WWE was doing a storyline with Natty and the Great Khali, which I don't remember at all.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, obviously I don't remember either. But like, you would also think that the fact that Natty is on this show, they would have at least shown that she was out there with them. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't.
Right, and not to mention the entire match really is built around Natty, which they didn't show on the show, because after the match, the great Khali went on there and led the crowd in singing "Happy Birthday" to Natty, which is actually the reason I think that match was put on TV. I think it was like, hey, let's throw Natty a bone. She's been here a number of years. Let's surprise her with a birthday song. But yeah, very strange. They didn't put that in there at all. I don't know if it just like would have conflicted with the deal where she was having the problems with TJ, and maybe they thought she already had her deal, but then like
I don't know, because I guess you kind of there's certain lines in kayfabe I guess you don't cross, but like at the same time it's not like if you're telling everybody that she's obviously not actually in real life and going to be engaged or going out with the great Khali.
Yeah,
I don't know what the sense in not calling attention to it is.
I agree. And one last piece of follow-up. Over this past week, as I've been doing my remote work, I picked up and saw the Daniel Bryan Blu-ray, Just Say Yes, Yes, Yes. And there's a little section in there he has about Brie, and I thought this was interesting because he talks about when he proposed to Brie and said that he actually preferred to do it a little later on, but the producers of Total Divas told him that they wanted that as the hook for the finale of season 2 of Total Divas, so they asked if he could move it up, which I thought was just so interesting that they played such a big part in kind of the proposal there between Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella. Spoiler alert for season 2.
I was gonna say spoiler alert. Gosh, like.
Well, now they're married because.
Yes. Yeah.
But I thought that was very, very interesting, and I guess that lends credence to how involved the producers are with this show that we watch each week here on the channel.
Yeah, and how some of it might be true in a certain sense, and some of it might be manufactured, which I guess is, speaking on wrestling as a whole. So I guess, we'll just keep guessing.
That is true. That's a good point. I agree. But with that out of the way, are we ready to dive into this week's episode?
I'm very ready.
All right. So I am now going to turn it on and get ready for it to be under the .000. I have a commercial to start us off. Criminal. I mean, don't get me wrong. While it's doing that, I'm going to run and make my thing a little lower.
Okay.
They did show me a little Pat Mahomes on my commercial, so I got a little excited here with football just a couple of weeks away here as we're starting this off here.
Right, and shout out to my Washington Commanders that just broke the Baltimore Ravens preseason streak.
Yeah, how long was that streak?
I don't remember exactly, but a number of years. And they said something about how Sam Howell was in middle school the last time the Baltimore Ravens lost.
Really?
So it has to have been a number of years.
Wow, who knew? I guess shout out to the Baltimore Ravens backups and depth. I mean, because that's, being undefeated in preseason, along with $2.75, will get you a ride on the New York City bus. So, it ain't good for much, but at least you guys broke it. It was a big deal. I will say.
Momentum building.
It is momentum building, and it was all over the place. So I was like, where did this streak come from? Because it was like Washington was trending all day about that, as with Sam Howell. So, all right, are you at triple zeros?
I am at quintuple zeros.
Quintuple zeros. There you go. All right, so let us know when we should start, Steve. Count us down, and we'll get started with Season 1, Episode 5, Feuding the Funkadactyls. We are watching this on the Peacock app. We do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 commercial breaks. We'll let you guys know, girls know when we're about to do that. And but for now, Steve, let's count us down.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go.
And we are started off with another great piece of B-roll here.
We have to, right?
Always. And now we're starting with Eva Marie and JoJo, just casually rubbing oil all over.
We can't get, right off the bat, starting with.
Right off the bat, and they're now in the gym.
But I think, this is also to keep your casual wrestling fan involved as well.
Yeah. I wonder if this is the famed gym, and I don't think they're in beautiful Stamford, Connecticut. I don't think this is the gym here for.
It definitely looks like a hotel gym.
It does look like a hotel gym.
Very nice hotel gym, but I think it, yeah.
And JoJo and Eva Marie also putting on there, doing some headlocks. Ah, look who it is! Throw your ones up! There he is! Let's acknowledge the
tribal chief himself.
I can't believe it! Oh, wow. I mean, this is like very early Roman Reigns.
Right?
I can't believe, and really he had no purpose there other than just to show that he was there. But hey,
that had to have been just a casual, hey, he happens to be here too. Right?
100%.
Like he would.
Yeah, like, hey, Roman, can you do us a favor? We're filming Total Divas. You mind just saying hello, introducing yourself, and we go from there. But that came out of nowhere. That was probably the cameo of the series so far.
Yeah, like, that was definitely a where are they now type of moment.
Oh, for sure. There he was, pre-tribal chief. Now he'd probably be standing there shirtless with the little thing around his neck, and
he wouldn't even be there.
He'd have his own church. It's in his house. Yeah, he certainly would.
He's not gonna spend long enough anywhere for him to need to go to a hotel, let alone a hotel gym.
Agreed. That's very fair. And now it's Natty and TJ totally in love after last week's little snafu, playfully wrestling each other in the gym, and TJ not wanting to get out of the pool to talk to his mother. And TJ's mom doing a very old trick that my mother does from time to time whenever she wants anything, going through my wife, which is something that always gets me very excited and happy.
That's got to be a mom tactic, because.
Yep. So let me ask Tommy. He says no. 2 minutes later, my wife comes in the room and lets me know. I'll just let you know, your mom just messaged me. We're gonna be going and doing this, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't even have a chance to tell her not to answer. But happens far too frequently. I'm amazed how young Natty and TJ. So TJ now is one of the best producers in WWE. He puts together a lot of the matches, gets a ton of hype. Unfortunately for him, his in-ring career came to a close. He suffered a devastating injury during Samoa Joe's first match in WWE. Hit him with a muscle buster, and that was the end of TJ there, and that was the end there.
What happened to him?
I think he really badly broke his neck or something.
Damn.
Yeah, so he was immediately done. It sucked because he was in a really cool team with Cesaro. They were Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, and just did not happen for them, unfortunately. And that was the end of his in-ring career. But he's become a very successful producer with WWE.
Well, at least he landed on his feet.
I will say, too, I do expect every Royal Rumble there's a chance he comes out as a surprise. And then has a reinvigorated wrestling career like Paige has, Edge has.
I was going to say, if Edge can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're now in New York, and it's now Trinity, Naomi, and Cameron, Ariane. Or I guess it's Ariane Cameron. I think Ariane's her real name.
Okay.
And the two of them still the Fundactyls here. I did check last week, despite this premiering in August, that footage was actually from May of 2013. So a couple months prior, they had recorded that, which I guess makes sense.
Not too far off though. A couple. Yeah. I'd say 3 months is a fairly okay turnaround for that kind of thing.
Yeah, and which I guess actually is probably why Daniel Bryan and Kane are the tag team in that SummerSlam commercial.
Yeah. So that means that they filmed the SummerSlam commercial long before.
Yep, or come out 2-3 months prior to SummerSlam, and now they're in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, home of Lance Storm and Bret Hart. Yeah, Bret Hart, exactly.
And the Calgary Stampede.
Yes, there you go. Yeah, that's a good point. And the Calgary Stampede are a Canadian football team, right?
Yeah, they have to be.
Yeah. And now it looks like this is, I guess, for Raw. And this is a major look behind the curtain here, where they're actually showing them going over their lines and kind of practicing what they're going to say and act beforehand, which, unheard of stuff at the time here from specifically in WWE to show this much.
Yeah. And this is the kind of stuff that I'm here for. That kind of behind the scenes, like footage. That's what I'm here for. I like that.
Yeah, and especially it shows too how things have changed too, where you can see very little ad lib. They have their lines written down, passed to them by a creative team member, and then pretty much regurgitating that in a backstage promo.
But it's also like, I mean, maybe this was mostly maybe this is how it actually happened, back in the day. But I always just assumed that everything that was happening, even those backstage promos and all that stuff, was actually happening live.
Yeah.
But now, obviously now I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like sometimes it is, because sometimes you can tell. But you're right. They must do a lot of free tapes as well.
Yeah, I feel like because sometimes you can tell when a wrestler is like pausing for the cheers and like waiting for that to die down. Otherwise, It might be like built in. But that it's kind of like interesting. Maybe something that I'm going to watch from now on.
Yeah, no, that is. That's a good point. Interesting. Now she's saying her birthday's coming up, even though we've already seen this is actually recorded last week at the same match that we watched last week on the show.
Is this maybe why they didn't acknowledge any of that? Because they're going to try and split that up.
I guess so. And now she's not even. I guess she's doing something for. She actually has a match. Before she was going in. Oh, interesting. So she's actually crediting the Bellas with teaching her how to be a diva, and her kind of being. That's Caitlyn, former Divas champion. And her being the one to kind of teach Bella's actual wrestling, which Natty has done for a lot of the women's wrestlers through the years. Before that, though, they showed a clip of Natty walking into the building, and a lot of fans outside gathered watching the wrestlers enter the building. As a fan, do you remember ever doing that?
I feel like we tried to do it once when they were leaving. I don't remember ever trying to do it when they were coming in.
Yeah, leaving is always, I think, the way to do it, because that's when they're a little more loosey-goosey. They'd always kind of interact with fans a little bit. You have a much better chance of seeing anybody. Now I don't do that anymore. But back then, that used to be, you do it when they leave, and I used to do it all the time. When they arrive, not as much, but people do it. People will stake out there all day. You saw a ton of fans there for Natty as she's going in. And boy, does TJ Wilson love his wrestling. He's wrestling in the pool. He's wrestling here on the bed. He's hitting a collar and elbow tie-up on Natty as she's laid down here. He is, just a guy who absolutely loves it.
Which he probably got feedback from the producers that's like, hey, the cameras are there. You got to ham it up. Because I feel like last episode, he was no-selling it completely.
Oh, yeah. Just sitting on the couch, watching his wrestling.
Yeah. Completely trying to like unfazed that his fiance is walking around in lingerie, like.
Yeah. And now so Natty is celebrating her birthday week there, but that was very interesting. That I guess they probably had that piece. So I'm guessing that's the same episode of Raw probably, where she had that tag match and then later on came down with the Great Khali.
Maybe, yeah. You're gonna have to do a little bit more research now.
I will definitely do.
To figure out where that match was.
In the follow-up, I will go and let everybody know where things are. I'm a little bit concerned that WWE put on not only that 6-man tag, but that tag team Divas match on the same episode of Raw. But hey, what can you do? And it looks like TJ now is about to go hang with his mom and leave Natty all by herself. So on her birthday week, all she wanted was a nice dinner and some time with him. And then kind of we go from there.
Which would definitely get you in the doghouse these days.
Oh, 100%. Oh, we have big match John coming up here after the commercial break. Got to shoot
all right.
Life lessons with John Cena. And I'm now on a commercial break for 45 seconds.
Ooh, I'm up to a minute.
I'll have to pause because you go tumbling to the floor.
So outraged at my minute break.
Yeah, that I let you go and fall down there. But yeah, the big issue the Bells are having this episode is they have a strange relationship with their dad, and it looks like Bree is trying to see if there's a way they can kind of bring things together, get back on the same page with him, and Nicole is having none of it. And so it's interesting. You start to see a lot of the members of the Bellas family continue to trickle in here as the series continues.
So wait, so hang on. So is it that so are we talking about both of the Bellas they're estranged, and then also it seemed like JoJo also had her own estranged father issues, or
Yeah,
was it a typo, and was it supposed to just be the Bella twins?
I don't know. Yeah, they didn't have anything so far with JoJo and her father.
So I guess maybe we'll have to watch and find out.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And let me know when you're back.
I am back. As we just saw, just the John, Trinity's fiance, as well as Vincent, that he's lumped together with Vincent.
He is no. I mean, he's just doing whatever he could. Look at the smile on his face too. This guy's just happy to be on some sort of WWE programming. This is some boutique opening of some sort, and I guess they're probably the biggest stars to go into the boutique. But it does not look like Trinity's as happy to be there. She looks very unhappy to be there.
Yeah.
She's looking very much like not what she wants to do.
Right. She would rather be literally anywhere else.
Yeah. I guess her point is, hey, I'd rather prepare to kind of try to continue to improve in the ring. And Ariane's just loving the celebrity life here. And so it's continuing that divide too.
Why does John Cena have a random picture of the big three?
Did he? I didn't even see it.
No, I'm talking that picture.
Oh yeah.
Back to like, why do we have
his house?
I want to say that was the Yalta conference.
Interesting. I will say
it was one of the conferences that was like right at the end of World War II, and it was Churchill, FDR, and Joseph Stalin. Like, it's so random.
It is very random. This house looks like you would walk into a house like this at like an IKEA or something, and that it looks very unlived in and nothing is out of place, and it's just like your generic.
Yeah, it looks very MTV Cribs.
Exactly. John is learning Chinese. That's something that he's actually pretty good at, and he's learned forever because he thought that his goal was actually to help WWE explore business in China. So he was trying to learn Chinese every single day. And
did that ever happen?
Dedication, if nothing else.
Did that ever happen?
They did, yeah. I think there was a press conference where he actually was he actually spoke in China, and I know that's really helped him a lot with some of the Fast and the Furious movies and some of the things that he's done there.
Okay.
Now he's trying to kind of bridge that gap there with Nikki and trying to see if she wants to go and be with her, go see her father and try to repair that relationship. But speaking of World War II, have you seen Oppenheimer?
I have not.
Neither have I. I do want to, though. I hear it's very, very good.
I hear it's good, but I also feel like I would be that person sitting there picking out all the inaccuracies. And
Sure. Well, I think what I heard is everybody loves it who has seen it except Logan Paul, who said it was honestly just too much talking for him.
Oh, then now I definitely want to see it. If he didn't like it, then I have to see it, and I will love it.
It's over 3 hours long, so it is one that's a little lengthy, but I hear it's very good. John's telling Nikki she should respond to a text. I wish I had John in my life to remind me to respond to a lot of texts. I don't mean not to. I'll typically look at the message, respond in my head, and then not respond, so I have to get better about that. TJ wearing a very nice outfit to this dinner, a WWE 2K13 hoodie over his, though I don't know if this is a really nice restaurant.
It doesn't look like it's not a nice restaurant, but it also, I don't know if it's too good.
Well, actually,
2K13 worthy.
The guy right behind him is wearing a full suit.
Yeah.
So it looks
like everybody else is kind of, business casual, I'd say.
And he's dressed fine without the hoodie. I just thought the
that's true.
hoodie was a little silly. But he does follow the typical WWE mid-carder wearing the WWE merch out in public like Tommy Dreamer.
Right. I'm surprised he doesn't have just like a generic SmackDown t-shirt after.
Yeah, or WWE with the American flag theming. So it looks like he's now with her. Oh, it looks like they're talking about how TJ and Natty have been together 12 years. They're getting married, and it looks like the mother wants them, or potentially wants them to have children.
I'm getting some, I'm getting some awkward vibes
For sure.
from TJ's mom.
I'll share that for me. I know when my mother-in-law messaged me at our 1-year anniversary and said, happy anniversary. Now I'm ready for you to give me some grandchildren. And I wrote back, LOL. She said, you're the only one laughing.
Wow.
Yeah. Imagine that wasn't in the cards, how awkward that would be, right? Like,
I mean, my wife has had to have that conversation a couple of times with her mother.
Yeah. So weird. But now we're in the gym here with Nikki and Brie. And again, I mean, these workout, the Divas working out, they always seem to be not doing all that much in terms of working out.
Yeah.
They all seem to be just there as like your very, sexualized type of
and like definitely still wearing makeup and definitely still like done up and all that stuff. Like done up in a like everything is definitely meticulously planned about what they're going to look like at the gym.
100%. I mean, you think about Eva Marie and JoJo earlier, and they're in full makeup, just kind of dicking around. Yep. And then Roman walks by, a total hot, sweaty mess in sweats, looking like he's in the midst of like a really gruesome workout and annoyed that he needs 2 minutes to say hello. So this is this is not the Performance Center still. That comes in July of 2013. But this is where they used to do NXT prior.
Right, but at least they're actually practicing their moves and stuff. Like this is actual legitimate, not I'm going to crunch a bicep curl once and then just for the B-roll.
Yeah, and you could see, it's very hard for Trinity, who clearly has aspirations to be a wrestler, who clearly is trying to do everything she can to just get a character that's going to hit here. And again, Cameron is just kind of not as into wrestling. Remember, she was on Tough Enough with her favorite match being Melina versus Alicia Fox. So not on the same page there in terms of what the passion would be, you would think, for being a wrestler.
And if that is your favorite match, I'm not going to judge or anything, but like it was definitely just like the first one that she ended up watching, or like the most recent one.
They clearly went to I think they went as a full cast to SummerSlam that year, and that match was on the card. And so that's probably the match she liked the most because it was the women's match.
Right.
And oh gosh, and here comes Natty's MMA fighter friend, who is not somebody that you would want to
mess with.
Yeah.
And I'm on a minute commercial. I'm 15 seconds into my minute-long commercial.
Are you? Okay, I'm in a minute-long commercial, but I am not 15 seconds in, so you're a little ahead of me.
Okay.
But yeah, they were saying that when it came to... So Natty now... This guy here is going to be very much, he's a friend of Natty's, but it's clear that he has ulterior motives here. His situation with Natty, and it probably is not somebody who anyone would want hanging out with their wife as we get continued here. But this is interesting to see Trinity kind of in the early stages, because she eventually does go on, obviously, to have a very long singles run as Naomi. And gets a run with the world title, really recreates herself as this Feel the Glow movement. And I'll let you know when I get down to my 3 seconds.
Okay. Yes, please.
So she's really the beginning stages of what will inevitably become a really solid run for her. And now she's got a good run going in, I believe it's Impact Wrestling. And I'm back.
Okay. They're in Raleigh, wherever that is.
Raleigh, yeah. I am not sure where that is, but I will look it up since I do have the double cell phone feature.
That definitely sounds like a place that it would be like Fit Finley is from, just because he loves to fight. So.
The Brawling Brutes, potentially.
Yeah, there you go.
And so it looks like this is the city of Brawley is in Imperial County, California. However, there's also the Brawley Institute of Learning in Stamford, Connecticut. So I'm going to go with California because it's the Bellas.
Yeah, I would agree.
What's that?
I would agree.
Yeah. But I also would love to see, and that is the brother of the Bellas.
Yes.
He's a recurring character here on the show. And he was one of our faves through I know Eric always liked his story and with his wife and everything. So, but yeah, I guess that's the grandfather.
Yes. Yeah, that was a little bit of backstory. It seems like it was more that he was more of the father figure than their actual father.
Yeah, I have such a hard time shutting up and listening to the show that
That's also partially why I have the captions on.
There you go. Yeah, I also do. Otherwise, it's impossible. That's why I have the glasses on too, so I can read the captions because I realize sometimes I haven't been able to. But this is Nana Bella. She'd go on to work a great program with AJ Lee no, I'm kidding.
She was actually in a triple threat match with Mae Young.
That's right.
And the Fabulous Moolah.
And now it looks like they're finally. Oh, Jarrett is coming there to have a whole day together with Natty for her birthday.
Nope, don't like him.
No, I don't like him either. Go away, Jarrett. Especially with these. He's got the MMA fighter ears, the cauliflower ears.
The sloping forehead and I don't want to start.
Oh, he's got a whole bunch of just not a good situation here, and he's up to no good. You can tell he has And how does Natty go ahead and do this and think this is like fine? Is she saying that he's actually? Oh gosh, now he's trying to see if she's gonna go in the bikini.
Because of course, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, or does she want to do it nude? Look at him, a total like meathead of the meatheads. Yeah, this is just awkward as can be here. Uncomfortable to watch it on the reality show, and I guess he's helping her to tan. Become the activity they were going to do for her birthday here.
Right. This is definitely the hey, let's drum up a little bit of drama, a little manufactured situation here.
Yeah, I guess this is what he does. He works at this tanning salon.
I mean, you would have to, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna rent out this tanning salon so that your random friend can come in and just do this for you.
I will say it's interesting though because you see his intentions and everybody on the planet can see this guy's up to no good except Natty, who thinks how sweet it is. He wants to take her out to dinner for her birthday and isn't even thinking anything of it.
And we do a very stark transition.
Yeah. This is unnecessary. Like, I hate to be that guy, but they're all having this really sad moment by their grandfather's tombstone. And
could you imagine if there was somebody else there, and all of a sudden you just see these people filming next to a gravesite? Like,
I'm like waiting for the rather overweight man hanging out in the background with a plaster board filled with Funko Pop cases for them to sign when they're finished grieving. I tell you, at the airport, there's so many of them. I wouldn't hold it against them if they knew, hey, Bells are going to be at this cemetery. Let's go make sure we get them to sign all of our merch. And that they do it.
Right, like, you heard a rumor that they were in town, and it's like, where could they possibly go? Let's see.
Yeah. But yeah, it's very. I mean, thank God there isn't anyone else there, because you're right. One of these things where, and it's awkward. They must have told them that no one else could go, because I've never been in a cemetery where no one else is around.
Right, or just had to wait, or they kicked people out. They were like, hey, Pete, we have to shoot here.
Yeah. So it looks like TJ's kind of letting her. TJ's not coming through here for Natty, and now finally he is, and I guess they're going to go out for a nice meal, and he's come to take her out to dinner, and now TJ again is taking Natty to his sister's for her birthday. Tej, what are we doing?
Right,
And now, of course, this is going to lead to, I bet, the friend coming in
Right, yeah, like, oh, yeah, rejecting, and then, say, hey, you know what, like, let me go out to dinner, just us, or,
Yeah.
don't like it.
Yeah, and here she comes. She's all dressed up, and so again, these two continue their marital woes. And she's done. She's going up to watch Nancy.
Although Nancy Grace, I don't know, Natty, that's not the best choice either, though.
No, not to expose any politics here on Total Divas, but clearly, if Natty's going up to watch Nancy Grace, we see where she falls. And now here comes we're back now to the Funkadactyls, along with Eva Marie and JoJo. It's very clear Eva Marie and JoJo are not yet anywhere close to being a part of the WWE TV, and so they keep finding different ways for them to different things for them to do. Now, what is the name of the place? Is this the place we went to?
No, but it looks like it's that kind of place, right? Where you got go-karts, you got some arcade stuff going on, like.
It looks like an awesome place. And me, I know I would be very excited when we went back in, was it 2019, was it?
Yeah.
And you were whipping around, not too differently to how most of the divas are here, in particular Trinity.
And everybody was lapping you.
What's that?
And everybody was lapping you.
You definitely were. And I'll never forget taking my time and very securely driving very slow, and you at one point were finally like, move it, let's go. And I was like, who is that? That son of a gun. But I did very so worried about colliding. How doesn't anybody ever collide?
I mean, I'm sure some people have, but like you're not necessarily going like super duper fast.
Yeah,
to cause too much damage. But
so Natty lost here to, Trinity lost. She didn't get to be. So this is a pretty cool deal, though. They have a little medal ceremony for the top 3 finishers. That's pretty neat. I got to find out where this place is. That looks awesome. I wonder if it still exists.
I mean, I'm sure it does. Maybe a little drummed up, though.
Yeah, true. Maybe they don't actually do it.
I mean, used to do. You might get that little piece of paper, but I think they may have brought their own medal.
Agreed. What was the name of the one we did?
It's Andretti's.
Andretti's. Is that still there?
Yeah, that's still there. It's right across from Topgolf.
Yeah, that was a great time, despite me being very scared the entire time. And we did some strange 4D show that was terrible too.
Oh yeah, that was not the best.
Yeah. Yeah, and it looks like they have the Funkadactyls are battling. Nothing worse than when you see somebody have I'm Eva Marie in all of those types of being around confrontation like that. That I'm exactly like Eva Marie. Get me out of here. Where's my cell phone? Let me look at this.
Yeah. So like that face that JoJo just made, that would be me the entire time. Just like why?
Oh, and now they shoved it.
You have to think that that's some Real Housewives manufactured bullshit. Like, I'm sorry. I call bullshit on that. There is absolutely no reason for that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. They're fighting each other. Literally went to fisticuffs. Ridiculous. Completely over the top. I'm at a 60-second commercial break.
As am I. Have a great shot of Iceland for some reason.
Oh, really?
Like the Range Rover commercial.
Oh, wow. Yeah, very. I agree. For them to come to blows, I do not see that as being something that actually occurs, especially in the middle because of the big intense game of go-karts. I can't see it.
Right. Yeah, that was the tipping point. Like that's what I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows? Not to peel back the curtain, but yeah, I definitely do agree that part there, having a little hard to believe. Otherwise, it would have been, 2013 a little different than now. If that happened now, forget it. It'd be everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, every wrestling website. It would be all over Twitter, all over X, I guess. And, anybody with a flip phone or camera phone would be able to just take a picture of it, and it would be everywhere. Biggest story. So.
And we are back at Pole Position Raceway. That's the name of the place.
I'd be able to find, obviously, if it's still available and where it's located.
I mean, maybe it's a franchise. Who knows?
It could be.
Or maybe it's in Tampa.
Could be. No, there's actually a whole bunch. You're right.
I have a feeling this one's in Tampa.
Yeah, I think so too. It looks like it. Especially because clearly a lot of what they do is very much. But yeah, we have one here in New York, in Jersey City, and Rochester. Indoor go-karting. So I gotta go and do this, and then do a video of me doing it, casually strolling at 5 miles an hour around the course there.
Yeah.
Trib Steakhouse. So you have TJ not taking Natty anywhere, and decided to blow her off. So she decides to go out with Jared in the same outfit she was going to wear to dinner with TJ.
Yeah.
Steakhouse.
And this looks like a very nice place. Very fancy place.
He took her all over. I'd go out with Jared for a night out if I was going to be taking it. My goodness. He went above and beyond. He's putting the full court press on. Notice, too, not a single soul in that place except the two of them.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
probably because they're doing a lot of talk. They've done it at other places where you see people behind them, but clearly they place out for them.
Yeah. Well, it seemed like there were some people maybe on the on that kind of top level, but then they went downstairs.
I bet when they went and told them they wanted to film, I bet it was the restaurant was like, oh look, we got this great area downstairs.
Yeah.
Looks really nice. You should come down here. And
he's planting the seeds. He's digging in real deep.
We all have those friends. We've all encountered those guys who come in there when the woman's starting to doubt a relationship a little bit. Say, I would treat you so much better. Haven't had that, I guess, with my wife.
Yeah. Oh, he's getting it. He's shooting his shot right here, right now.
I'm so uncomfortable. I wish we'd go back to the breast implants. I mean, this is like
that was less awkward somehow.
Yeah. Oh man, he's saying he's always had feelings for her, and Natty is stunned that this is what he's thinking. Natty's completely blown away that this man wanted her. Like she's no idea. Awkward.
Oh no, and it looks like she did not immediately say no.
No, she didn't. She's thinking
not
about
a good sign here.
And we're back to going and seeing the father, and of course, haven't seen your estranged father in 20-something years. Of course, you want the camera there along for it as well.
Right? Yeah.
Very, very awkward, I'm sure. I
mean, I guess you have to agree to this to an extent also, right? Like, it's not like they're just going to be like, jump this on you. Like,
100%. Yeah. I'm sure they talked it through, and he probably needed to sign like an express written consent to be a part of it and everything.
Well, yeah.
And Nikki, no greeting for Dad. Bree with a big hug and kiss. The son for Bree, big hug and kiss. Nikki doesn't even get off the table, so she's the one who has the sorest feelings here of the whole bunch. Clearly does not want to be. I think she's there.
And then we're also getting a powwow little sit down with Stephanie.
Yeah, the Steph is getting involved due to the argument. I'm on a 60-second commercial break. I do think it's the last one.
I think we are kind of getting to the end here.
Yeah, getting down to the nitty-gritty, so to speak. But yeah, so I guess, hey, maybe that argument really did take place because now Steph is cracking down on this argument at the poll rate.
Yeah. And she's going to say, hey, listen, in the age that we're in, the social media and whatnot, you can't be arguing out in public. And
Yeah, no, I'll never forget. They did one recently, not that long ago, with Dolph Ziggler and Goldberg out in public. And it broke everywhere that these guys had an altercation in public. And then they ended up doing a match at SummerSlam. And they actually set it up themselves, which was actually really smart. And
I mean, and that's kind of the thing where within this reality TV and like the social media and everything whatnot, like if you get ahead of it and you use it, that's definitely a good tool.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I'm back.
Yeah, I'm back as well. Beautiful shot here, Brawley, California. I mean, it looked like a town. This place they're at here to meet Dad looks very nice as well.
Yeah, is this maybe like some sort of ranch or something? Because it looks like there's like a nice willow picket, white fence in the background.
Yeah, or golf course. Is that a golf cart? Oh, Nikki up to get a hug because he asked for one. So I wonder, is Nikki doing this for maybe because for her sister and for the brother, or is she doing this because John told her it'd be a good idea to do it when they talked?
I mean, I feel like it was probably one of the maybe set up in advance, and then she was like, "Oh, I'm not sure, I don't want to do it," and then maybe that talk to John, maybe with that talk, he convinced her, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. And it looks like Dad, to his credit, looks very much like he's having a hard time with this, and it's affecting him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and he walked out on them when she was 15, so that's gotta do.
Yeah, a number. Yeah. So that's why the grandfather meant so much to them, because they really saw him more as a father figure as opposed to their father himself. And the father, it seems like when I guess the parents got divorced, it's interesting because Mom is very involved moving forward, but you haven't seen her at all yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well, at least he's taking accountability. I always like accountability. He's not saying, "Hey, it's because of your mom" or anything else.
Yeah.
He's at least owning that.
Not pulling the Gene Snitsky, that he's not saying it wasn't his fault.
It wasn't his fault. Yeah, and he's got Nick. It seems like his accountability did mean a lot to Nikki there, and she appreciated that he was apologetic. Actually, very heartfelt, tough scene there in the midst of like all of the silliness of this episode.
This also kind of feels like one of the few times where having a camera might work in their favor, because you're not going to get Dad on camera to go, whatever.
Yeah, can you leave me alone? And then you get him like out like this, all PO'd. Like clearly he's sitting there and he's accepting what it is and stuff. And now we're back here at Raw. They're setting things up.
R-Truth?
R-Truth cameo. People over there, what's up? And now they're coming to work after the go-kart fiasco.
Yeah. I also like that it's kind of sectioned off there a little bit, where there was a sign that specially said female talent.
Yeah. Gosh, and you wonder, back in 2013, was the female talent side, was it like not as luxurious as the WWE superstar side? I hope not. Yeah. But now I think it would be much different.
And here's where we're getting the everything coming to a head here.
Yeah. So, and it looks like they are actually coming clean about having their issues on the outside of this and having a hard time coming back and having an issue. I wonder if it's as difficult as it was for Matt Hardy and Edge to be in the same place backstage after the Lita fiasco.
I feel like it's gotta be even worse. Like, that is legitimate, draw. Like, this is, I'm not saying that this is not legitimate, because it does start to look like they are having legitimate grievances with each other.
Yeah.
But I think it's way more personal when we're talking about Matt and Edge.
Yeah, no, you're right. Oh, and now so Stephanie is going to be there. Can you imagine? They want Stephanie to come in and talk with the Funkadactyls to help separate this out. I can't imagine how annoyed Stephanie's got a million things to do during the show, and now needs to sit down with the two of them and deal with kind of the pettiness between them. But
yeah, hey, can you come in? We're having some problems with two of the mid-carders' valets. Like,
exactly. But I'm sure at the same time, they probably are like, well, we're filming all this stuff for Total Divas, which is going to premiere in 2-3 months. We need them to get right, because we need them to be around. Like, otherwise, if they have an issue and leave, that's the end of it.
But I also, I think that there is enough space with the two of them. You break the fun, you break them up, and they both. And I think from both their perspectives, they kind of like, I want to go off on my own, but then the other one is like, yeah, but I need you to stay relevant, basically.
Right. Yeah, no, it's true. And so we are now at our final commercial break. Mine is 60 seconds. How long is yours?
Mine, I think, was 30 seconds, so I am almost back. I will go ahead and pause it in a couple of seconds and wait.
Yeah. But yeah, it looks like, and it's one of these things. I have 30 seconds left. It's one of these things where Stephanie's going to come in and ask, hey, if it got physical, who was the one who got physical? Mm-hmm. And that's the person, no matter what else happens, that's going to be a major, they'll be out the door. From an HR perspective, I can tell you, they're done. Right. So that's very tough. Great little commercial for Norwegian Cruise Line, which looks just fantastic, at least in this commercial.
I mean, they're not going to be, it's not going to look shitty in the commercial, I would hope.
True. All right, 2 seconds left, and we're back.
I haven't been on Norwegian. We've done one Royal Caribbean and the rest Disney.
So they set up the meeting with Stephanie. Great shots of the production trucks and production team back there. Yeah. And Ariane and Trinity are now thinking they want to go solo here. Trinity feels like she can't work with Ariane anymore, and Stephanie is now doing what any good boss would do. First off, she's got the witness there in Jane Geddes. Second of all, she's trying to take no sides and make sure she can get them on the same page. Now she's realizing this is over a go-kart battle, and she's disgusted.
Yeah, and I like Trinity is just fully admitting, yeah, I pushed her. So what?
Yeah, you're damn right I did. Sure, and I'd do it again.
Right. You want to watch?
Yeah. And Stephanie is, as we said, saying it's never acceptable for someone to push somebody, and that you can't have that happen. And yeah, as you're out and about, you represent the company you are at all times.
Yeah. Especially when there's a damn camera in your face.
Exactly. If we went blithering down the streets drunk, we'd be a reflection of the companies that we work for. You got to remember that.
Yeah, and of course this is the decision now coming down where they're going to split up and they're both going to go singles.
Yeah. Trinity is elated. She's like, thank God I'm not being pulled down at anchor anymore.
Yeah, I'm not being sandbagged anymore. And whereas the other one is like, oh shit.
Yeah, the other one's like, well, without Trin, what am I going to do? They're in Connecticut. I've been back there. That is in Hartford, Connecticut. I've seen the polls there. At least I think so.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're going solo. And look how Trinity can't even help.
Solo Sokoa speaking in the background there.
Who was it?
I made a Solo Sokoa joke. They kept saying you're going solo.
Yep. I did see Mike Chioda there checking his cell phone.
Yeah.
And Sandra is she wants the girls to get back together.
Whose jacket is that in the background? Do you know?
Back. The Miz. That is the Miz's jacket.
Okay. Yeah, yep. I can see that. Yeah.
For a second, it took me a second. The one thing that oh wow, great little looks like the Shield against Daniel Bryan, Kane, and John Cena. I'm assuming that probably main evented. It's a solid match there, and of course, again, they found a shoehorn. And their entire day is done. They're gonna sit there and just watch them and cheer on their men. And I love that. So Nikki describes John Cena as being half naked, muscles bulging, shirtless, and then Brie goes, "How great is Daniel's hair there?"
Yeah.
Brian's hair there. Which, I mean, I guess at least it's good she's allowed to call him by his real name, because it's probably hard to keep calling him Daniel.
Or just his last name,
Right. Right.
As you always call your partner just by their last name, right?
Last name. That is Alicia Fox. And Trinity's excited she gets to have kind of her first match there. I'm going to have to get back now and see and do some research for our next episode and try to figure out some background on this show here.
Yeah. Again, I like that they're keeping with the same theme though. She hasn't gotten a new gimmick yet.
Nope. Oh, and she is on main event, so she's not on Raw.
Oh, okay.
Is recorded before Raw starts. And she's in it with Alicia Fox. Makes sense. Alicia Fox at this time been with the company about 5 years. And as you can see, Trinity's tearing it up.
Yeah.
I think she was always the one you kind of saw. Oh, look at Natty throwing her right under the bus. Natty calling her out for poor cardio. Wow.
I think that might be, trying to maybe score a little bit of brownie points when you're standing next to one of the bosses, and then.
Wow,
There's a botch.
That she botched it. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. And now we're getting our little clip part here. They always show the Buna Murray, and then we got a couple more minutes. And I'm willing to bet they're going to realize they still need each other. Natty is amped that she miscalculated. Natty's like, whoops. Back to the drawing board there.
Right.
I'll be back on TV next week.
Yeah. Maybe this will work out best for everybody else, too.
Yeah. Oh, wow. And they're all... It's interesting that, JoJo and Eva Marie are back there. And it's like they probably didn't have... They're just there probably just to, I guess, observe.
Yeah.
And probably film these backstage stuff.
And who is she going up against?
Cameron against Oksana. I do not remember Oksana at all. I got nothing on Oksana. But I do love that the entrance ramp says Total Divas.
Interesting.
Trinity said Ariane's match is not good at all. She's fumbling moves and is tough to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think they're both real that they're not at the point where they could go without them. Remember, they don't really wrestle even as a tag team. So,
yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I think Trinity was better.
Yeah. Hey, everybody has a botch in a match. It happens, They're realizing here, like, hey, we're gonna need each other here.
And now I'm going back to maybe this was all a work.
Yeah.
To work shoots.
Yeah.
To work shoots.
You go back and watch that match if and I don't know that I can find or will go find the main event match between Trinity and Alicia Fox.
Yeah.
If Cameron was in her corner. So placed it together specifically Total Divas. Yeah, that part where, I mean, definitely, I will say, they've at least did a good job in really kind of getting things on the straight and narrow and making it look like this was a legitimate beef. But
yeah.
By the end of the episode, like I said, they always find a way to put that bow back on things. And, it's not even episodic. We're good to go for next week and back to everyone happy again.
Yeah.
And now I guess we're going to end with, are we still up in the air as to whether or not Natty said no to Jarrett?
Yeah, it has nothing. There was nothing there. It was right. There was no yes, no.
Yeah, she just kind of said
no closure there.
And that's it. We're left to wonder: did Natty take Jarrett up on his offer? And it looks like next week we'll be looking at we'll be going down to the West Coast, starting things off. Spoiler alert! Did you see where they're at?
Las Vegas?
They're going to Las Vegas, but the show started. I saw a second of the clip. And they're at Nassau Coliseum.
Hey, there we go.
I think be able to exchange some Nassau Coliseum memories before the show next week.
Yeah, and I just go back to this tagline where it says Trinity and Ariane's conflict escalates, and the Bellas and JoJo reunite with their estranged fathers. And there was absolutely nothing in there about JoJo and an estranged father. Like, I'm very curious why, what it, is a typo, or is it supposed to be just, the Bellas rearranged with their estranged father? Or?
Well, the brother's name is JJ. But why would he be in the intro?
Well, and also it specifically says fathers.
Right. Yeah, you're right. And there was nothing about JoJo. JoJo had a minute or two more in this episode than me.
Right.
They saw Roman Reigns working out and they said, girls, get in here real quick and go work out right over there so we can get Roman on the screen.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much.
And then we need you to be part of the episode, so just go do something real quick.
Yeah, guys. Trinity and Cameron are going to go do go-karts. Go with them and do your reactions. But I thought it was a very good episode. Thoroughly enjoyed that, and looking forward to seeing what happens in Las Vegas next week.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Well, Steve, have a very good rest of the day, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Make sure you leave a big thumbs up and subscribe. We'll be back here next week on Total Stivas.